So, this is a pretty infamous figure right here. And a lot of people don't really understand how it works when it comes to standing him up. Oh, let me put this thing off to the side. He's pretty sturdy. I mean, I'm shaking it. I mean, okay. I was shaking it, but, I mean, he's right back to standing. Very little effort. And if I extend his feet, this might be a little bit tougher. Oh. But he's standing. Look at that. His arms are a bit weird, but that's not the point. All right, I'm going to get up. I'm not going to do a shake test. No, he's standing perfectly fine. So, if you're interested in getting this figure, but don't really know how it operates, are they even extended all the way? Yeah, they are. You might be wondering, okay, Mr. Thenikin, what the fuck? How'd you do that? Well, first up, you need to make sure the legs are pretty much symmetrical. They're about as much. You need to work with the knee joints. But the most important thing are the heels, the feet. You see, the toes are articulated, but the heels, they are too, but they'll, all right, this one's kind of loose right now, but for the most part, they fall down. They don't really move that much. But if you have the feet incorrectly positioned, well, that's why he doesn't stand up. So what I like to do, have him stand on the heels. You see that? Oh, I can't really... You need to have them standing right there. And then you need to... I'm going to set it a little lower. And then, while holding it like this, push down on the feet. And there you go. He stands up perfectly. He's in a bit of an awkward pose. You probably fix that a little bit. I mean, you obviously could. But just make sure to push down on his toes. And he stands. Probably don't do that. So I guess if you have an earthquake, he's not going to survive that. But like I said, he doesn't have that hard of a time standing. Again, his legs are shortened. I didn't extend them, but as I showed earlier, you can. It just is a little bit harder to balance. Now, there is one major issue I have with a figure outside of the standing problem, and that is the waist. The waist is clear plastic. Both, the slider, every part of it that pushes it down is clear plastic, and that gets really loose. So a lot of times he's going to be like a bobblehead, but he's actually standing. He actually holds together pretty well. So why is that? Well, I use this. And, well, I'm going to open him up a bit. So you see these. I don't think this is the smartest idea, but I put some of it in there and in there. And I'll be honest, some of the joints get pretty loose over time, but this is actually holding together pretty well. Like his wrists, they still kind of get loose when doing that. I mean, it doesn't look loose, but like in hand, it's kind of loose. I guess you just need to apply more. And there's a lot of liquid that comes with a Fixer Elixir bottle. And I think when you fix the waist and you understand the feet, and one more thing, this is major because I see a lot of people have issues with the transforming it. So I'm going to go over it again. Let me get rid of the weapon. Push this down all the way and make sure that don't brute force this. If it gets caught, make sure this is as low as it can and get the head in a way to where it will fold over. The angle of the head and the angle of the cheetah, how far the cheetah head down, is important. I didn't know that when I first got it. Nobody talked about it, but... Oh, get that back down. You just gotta kind of make sure it's all... It can be a bit annoying, but I think it's very manageable. See? And unfortunately, this is starting to flake a little bit, but can't be helped too much. It is an old transmetal type chrome figure, but I think it's worth it. I think it's still like a really cool design of this cheetor. And again, I'm trying to, you didn't see it, but I was lightly pressing on the toes to make sure they're standing as flat with the heels. And if you take a look, the feet aren't completely flat on the floor, but they are still touching. So you don't even have to be 100% all the way. You just have to make sure that the toes are touching. So let me do it again. There you go. Once you know how to do that, this guy is not that hard to stand. He had issues for some reason when I was reviewing it in my Beast Machines video, but it's not that bad. There is one more thing I do want to show you in Beast mode. Alright, so feet aren't all flat on the floor. Now we're in Beast mode. And there's one thing that is very important if you're going to get this blame in Beast mode, and that is these front legs have a habit of getting loose if you display it in here for a long period of time. And I think this elbow's starting to get a little loose on mine. I might have to tighten that up. In fact, I think I will. But with these wrists will get very loose, even though I've tightened them. When they're like this, they get really loose. I don't know how to fix that. But to avoid it entirely, look at how the claws are. Now, I used to do it like this, and you're putting all pressure on the joint. See how far that goes down? However, if you do it like this, it's kind of a balancing act. It looks kind of stupid. I'll give you that. The digits on the legs aren't the best. Maybe someone can update this design. I actually want them, if they do new Beast Machines cheetor, I want a new take on this guy. Because I really like this toy design. But, yeah, make sure you fold the legs back when trying to pose them, because otherwise you can put way too much pressure on these joints and they will get really loose. I had two cheetors, this one, and I didn't go out of my way to get them. I got them both in an auction. They both had this guy and the Rat Trap, but one came with the Deluxe Primal and another came with Tankor. And the first one didn't have any weapons, and they both had their issues. The first Rat Trap was fine, but eventually his shoulder locked up. Like, it straight up locked up, and I don't know why. And this guy had the other problem. All of his joints, like his hips, his wrists, and his waist, way too loose. So what I did, I got this guy, and he was really tight, and I actually really liked it, but over time, these joints got insanely loose because, messing with them. And just make sure you do this. Make sure you do this. So, I mean, when you do all this stuff that I show off in this video, I actually think this is a pretty cool figure. Most of the big issues, unless you really don't like the design, are fixed. Transformation, less annoying. The wrists getting loose, just do this. The feet, hopefully I showed off how to make the feet less topple over. Well, he still does have one issue. If you know, you know. And I guess we can't fix everything. But I think this makes it go from kind of a mess of a figure to pretty damn cool. At least if you like the design. If not, just get the Night Slash. It'll be better. Maybe get a Night Slash and just commission someone really good to paint it. I don't even like the Universe repaint. It's still not accurate. Just has a really bad looking head. I don't know. So, if you're looking for this guy, hopefully this video helps on how to take proper care of your video and of your cheetor. And if any joints get too loose, make sure you have one of these things. Or any other joint tightener. Also, they're all ball joints, so you could do a paper towel trick where you get a tiny piece of paper towel, put it in the socket, and plug the arms on. That's a temporary fix. You have to remove the sockets to do that. So that can sometimes be a little worrisome, but if you got issues, if you can, it's a nice, affordable, probably the easiest method. But if not, this still, I recommend getting this. So, yeah, that's it. Overall, I really like this figure, and all of the... It took a bit, since I'm the biggest fan of this figure, probably, it took a bit on my own to figure out all these, and unfortunately, it kind of paid the price a little bit in, like, the face and some of the joints. And some of the toes probably have chipped paint because of tumbling over. That being said, also probably the chest has a little bit of scraping because of all this tumbles. But I mean, if you want this guy and you really like it, just follow the steps. There you go.